With buyers struggling with affordability, sellers and builders have gotten creative with a strategy that's becoming increasingly common in Denver. So let's talk about some of these incentives that homeowners and builders are offering right now that buyers are taking full advantage of in order to make this home buying process more affordable for them. The first one is called a 2-1 buy down, okay? And what this means is if a buyer is looking to buy a home and interest rates are at, let's just say 7% for an easy number, right? They can ask the seller to pay a credit to their lender, which would allow them to decrease the rate temporarily 2% lower than where rates are at. So instead of being a 7% rate, it would be a 5% rate for the first year, and then a 6% rate for year 2. And then it would be a 7% rate from year 3 all the way through year 30. With this pattern, it would allow the buyer to save a really good portion on interest over those first 2 years. And the cost of doing this buy down, this temporary buy down, has to come from the seller. That's the interesting thing, is it cannot be done later on a refinance. The buyer can't give a credit to the lender to do this. It has to be paid by the seller for this to work out. In order for this to happen, the seller would have to pay roughly 2.2% of what the buyer is borrowing on the loan. So let's just say that the purchase price is right around $800,000 on the home, but the buyer's only borrowing $600,000. They're putting $200,000 down for a down payment. Then the cost of this 2-1 buy down would be right around $14,000 in this case, that the seller would credit to the buyer, and they would get $14,000 less for the sale of the home. The buyer would walk into an interest rate that's 2% lower than today, where if you take the real example from rates today that are like right around 6.7%, now we're talking a 4.7% interest rate for year 1, 5.7 for year 2, and then 6.7 thereafter. So that's how those work.